There are some events that don't fit nicely into either of the categories we've already discussed, so we'll take a look at those here. We'll begin with an easy one. The end event simply ends the game. You won't generally use this in trials tracks, but when you get into building skill games, the end event will be a necessity. No real properties here besides a few basic event options. An impulse to the event ends the game, simple as that. Next we have the game event. As we've covered in some previous tutorials, you have the ability to use custom objects as your game character. This event allows you to change what your game character is on the fly. Properties, here we come. Most of our options here are familiar. The only one we really need to concern ourselves with is game character. This slider decides what you are changing your game character to. Rider and bike are your first two choices, with custom object as the third. When set to custom object, you also get the select game character option, which allows you to choose your custom object. Now we'll take a look at the hit point event. This event can be used to add hit points to any object that uses hit points. Let's see what we have in the properties. With this event, the type determines how you affect the object's hit points. Set will just set that object's hit point value, while increase or decrease will adjust based on the number of hit points it already has. Increase makes it stronger, decrease makes it weaker. The set value event works with data sources, which we've not yet covered, but its functions are pretty straightforward, so we can still take a quick look. The set value event will always be used to change the value in the variable data source. Just as a quick preview, the variable data source is basically a tool used to hold a numerical value that can be used for various purposes, which we will cover in the data source lesson. Now let's check out our properties. Type in this event changes how the event will affect the value that is already in the variable data source, and value sets the value the event will use to do it. Set will simply change the data source value to the value you have in the event. The rest all affect the data source value with math. Increase, decrease, multiply, and divide will all take the value in the event and the value in the data source and use that mathematical function to create the data source's new value. Finally, we have the state event. By this point, we've seen quite a few items in the editor that have an enabled checkbox. The state event affects that checkbox. We have the same type, reset, and select options we've seen a lot of in event properties. In this case, off means the checkbox is unchecked, on means it is checked, and of course toggle simply changes it from its current state. Now we do have one more event that we've not yet covered. The object position event is a pretty advanced tool, and you will need a better understanding of data sources before we can discuss that, so we will save it for a later lesson.